Hi, this is GCSE 9 to 1 Crammers. It's never too late to start revising, and this way you can do it anywhere. Test yourself by stopping the video after each question, have a go at answering it, and then play on to check it. Run through the questions as many times as you need until the answers pop into your head. Today we're revising Biology Topic 3, Pathogens, Diseases and Infections, covering pathogens, diseases, bacteria, viruses and fungi. What are pathogens? Pathogens are microorganisms such as bacteria, virus, fungi and protist that enter the body and cause disease. Name 4 different types of pathogens: bacteria, virus, fungi and protist. Give an example of a disease that could be caught by each of these pathogens. A bacterial disease, for example cholera. A viral disease, for example influenza or flu. A fungal disease, for example athlete's foot. And a disease carried by a protist, a parasite, for example malaria. How are each of these diseases spread? Cholera, a bacterial disease, is spread in water. Influenza or flu, a viral disease, is spread in the air. Athlete's foot, a fungal disease, is spread by direct contact. And malaria, a disease that is carried by a protist, which is spread by a vector, the organism that the protist lives on or in. Bacteria. What are bacteria? Bacteria are very small prokaryotic cells. Explain how bacteria cause disease once they get into the body. They reproduce rapidly and produce toxins. How do bacteria make us feel ill? Bacteria produce toxins that damage cells and tissues. Name a type of medicine that kills the bacteria inside the body. Antibiotics. People can be immunized against the disease that the microbe causes. Explain how immunization works. Mild microbes or pathogens cause white blood cells to produce antibodies, which can destroy disease antigens. Then, if the same type of pathogen attacks the immune system again, the white blood cells can mass produce antibodies to kill the disease antigens. How is salmonella food poisoning spread? By eating chicken that caught the disease whilst it was alive, or by eating food that has been contaminated by being prepared in unhygienic conditions. Salmonella is a harmful bacterium. If eaten, how does it affect us? These bacteria cause food poisoning, which then cause fever, stomach, cramps, vomiting and diarrhea. Penicillin is an antibiotic. How does penicillin help to treat infection? Penicillin prevents growth of bacteria. How can a person with a mild infection of salmonella prevent the spread of the bacteria to other people? Wash their hands after using the toilet and before handling food. Isolate themselves. Don't go out until the infection has gone. Disinfect surfaces and don't share any items used, for example utensils, towels, etc. Suggest how farmers could prevent the transmission of salmonella from chickens to humans. Give the chickens antibiotics to prevent them from becoming infected. Isolate the infected chickens, and lastly the most obvious one, don't sell any chickens which have been infected. Suggest 2 reasons why it is an advantage to keep farm animals disease-free. The treated animals do not use energy overcoming illness, and treated animals do not infect other animals or farm workers. What is cholera? Cholera is a bacterium. How can cholera, a bacterial infection, get picked up? By drinking or bathing in dirty water, contamination from diarrhea or other sufferers, Oh, that's just nasty, man. What are the symptoms of cholera? Stomach cramps, thirst which leads to dehydration, and then severe diarrhea. What is gonorrhea? Gonorrhea is a bacterium, a sexually transmitted disease or STD. How is gonorrhea spread? It can be passed on by having sexual contact. For example, having unprotected sex. Naughty, naughty, naughty. What are the symptoms of gonorrhea? Pain when urinating and a thick yellow or green discharge. How is gonorrhea treated? With an antibiotic, called penicillin, or using barrier methods of contraception, e.g. condoms. Remember, no glove, no love. Why is it getting harder to treat gonorrhea? Because strains of bacteria have become resistant to the antibiotic. Why do antibiotics become less useful at treating an infection if the antibiotic is overused? Because bacteria and pathogens develop a resistance to antibiotics. Explain how a population of antibiotic-resistant bacteria might develop from non-resistant bacteria. When bacteria come into contact with antibiotics, they can mutate into new variations of bacteria-resistant cells that can survive antibiotics. These bacteria-resistant cells then go on to breed. Bacteria may become resistant to antibiotics. How can doctors reduce the number of bacteria that become resistant to antibiotics? Reduce or stop the use of current antibiotics for non-serious mild or viral infections as much as possible. Viruses. What are viruses? Viruses are not cells. They are tiny organisms, much smaller than bacteria cells, that cannot replicate without a host cell. How do viruses make us ill? Viruses live inside our cells, making copies of themselves, until the cell bursts, and the virus spreads, and the damaged cell is what makes us feel ill. Why is it difficult to kill viruses inside the body? Because viruses live inside cells. Children are given vaccines to protect them against viral disease. What do these vaccines contain? An inactive form of the virus. What does the vaccine stimulate the white blood cells to produce? Antibodies. Suggest why antibiotics should not be used to treat some people who have sore throats. A sore throat is a mild viral infection, and antibiotics don't kill viruses. By not using antibiotics will also help to reduce the rate of developing resistant bacteria. What is measles? Measles is a viral disease. How is measles spread? It is spread through droplets in the air when an infected person sneezes or coughs. What are the symptoms of measles? A red skin rash and a high temperature, a fever. Measles can be serious. What complications can it lead to? Measles can lead to pneumonia, a lung infection, an encephalitis, a brain infection. What can be used to protect children against catching measles? The MMR vaccine is used to protect against measles. Apart from measles, which two other diseases does the MMR vaccine protect against? Mumps and rubella. Suggest one advantage to the population of children having the MMR vaccination. There is less chance of an epidemic, because there would be less chance of measles, mumps and rubella being spread. What does a vaccine contain? An inactive or dead form of the virus, pathogens or bacteria. Explain how vaccination prevents infection. White blood cells produce antibodies. Then the antibodies respond quickly to any reinfection. Explain why antibiotics cannot be used to treat measles. Antibiotics can't kill the measles virus because they live inside cells. What is HIV? HIV is a virus. How is HIV spread? It is passed on by having sexual contact, for example having unprotected sex, or by exchanging bodily fluids, e.g. blood or needle exchange. How does the HIV virus attack the body? The virus attacks and damages the cells in the immune system, so white blood cells cannot kill bacteria. What happens to the body if the immune system is badly damaged by the HIV virus? The body can't fight any infections or cancers, because the immune system is weakened when HIV attacks the white blood cells, making it easier for pathogens to invade. What are the symptoms of HIV? Flu-like symptoms for the first few weeks. What is the HIV infection known as at this late stage? AIDS. Explain why prescribing an antibiotic will not cure HIV. Antibiotics don't kill viruses, and because the HIV virus lives inside cells. Explain how HIV can be treated. During the early stages of HIV, it can be controlled with antiretroviral drugs. Explain how antiretroviral drugs control HIV. Antiretroviral drugs stop the virus replicating in the body. What is tobacco mosaic virus, TMV? It's a virus that affects plants, for example tomatoes. What are the symptoms of a plant affected with tobacco mosaic virus? A mosaic pattern on the leaves. Parts of the leaves become discoloured. How does tobacco mosaic virus TMV affect a tomato plant? TMV causes discoloured patches on the leaves, destroying the chloroplasts, so there is less photosynthesis taking place because of the lack of chlorophyll, which affects the growth of the plant. How can a gardener prevent the spread of TMV to other plants in the garden? Wash all the garden tools in disinfectant after using them on plants infected with TMV. Explain why plants with TMV have stunted growth. TMV causes parts of the leaves to become discoloured, producing less chlorophyll. This means that the plant carries out less photosynthesis and produces less glucose. Plants need glucose for growth, for respiration, for making amino acids and cellulose. Not enough glucose will stunt the plant's growth. Scientists produced a single plant that contained a TMV-resistant gene. Suggest how scientists can use this plant to produce many plants with the TMV-resistant gene. By taking stem cells from the meristem, or by taking a tissue culture. Fungi. What are fungi? Fungi are eukaryotic cells. Some fungi are single-celled, for example a yeast cell. But others have a body, for example a mushroom, which is made up of hyphae, thread-like structures. How are these hyphae transferred to an organism? These hyphae can produce spores, which can spread to other plants and animals. They can then grow and penetrate human skin and the surface of plants, causing disease. Athlete's foot is a fungus. How is it spread? It is spread by direct contact, by touching the same things or the area an infected person has touched. For example, shower floors and towels. Definitely not a fungi. How does athlete's foot infect the body? It's a fungus that makes the skin itchy and flake off. What type of pathogen causes rose black spot? It's a fungus that develops on the leaves of rose plants. Describe the signs that suggest that a plant has been infected with black spot fungus. Purple or black spots will develop on the leaves. The leaves may turn yellow and drop off. Explain why rose black spot affects the plant's growth. Where the leaves have black spots or have turned yellow, they produce less chlorophyll. This means that the plant carries out less photosynthesis and produces less glucose. Plants need glucose for growth, for respiration, and for making amino acids and cellulose. Not enough glucose will stunt the plant's growth. How does rose black spot spread to the plant? It is spread in water or by spores carried by the wind. How can gardeners treat the rose black spot disease? Using fungicides, or pulling off the infected leaves and destroying them, so that the fungus can't spread to other rose plants. In this video you've learnt about the different infections, 3 different types of pathogens, bacteria, viruses, fungi, as well as a few other plant diseases. Take time to learn this topic so you can nail those questions in the Biology GCSE Paper 1 exam. The key to exam success is learning, consolidation and keeping this topic fresh in your mind. And how do you do that? Repetition, repetition and repetition. If you go over this enough times, you'll be able to answer any questions on this topic confidently in your exam. This is GCSE 9-1 Crammers, and if you like the content of this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you have a question or need help, give us a comment below. And don't forget, smash that subscribe button if you want more Crammers videos for your exam success. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.